Okay, I need to answer somebody who said they couldn't get on, and I'm going to
This is my very favorite, or no, one of my very favorite moments in an online talk where everyone gets in and I get to see so many faces and get a sneak peek into so many living rooms and what people are doing. So, hi everyone.
yeah.
Very exciting. Hello.
Okay. Hello, everyone. We are here. We are recording, just so that you know. Should have seen that when you joined. So, hi, I'm Babs, and that is Melanie.
Hello everyone. Hi. And Babs, thank you so much for doing this once more. Last time we got together was right after BT Keen's pattern release.
Right.
So I'm super happy to have this opportunity, seeing you and your lovely followers today evening. Well, evening here for me, it's 6
Right.
and I think it's 1 o'clock at your place, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And so it could be earlier for some and later, people show up from around the world. So I'm happy that we are doing this again because it was so much fun the first time. And I got to, it's nice to get to know people. And we often don't get to know each other, especially because you're in Europe and I'm in America. And we don't necessarily get to shows at the same time and so on.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Right. And I mean, we are working together for a long time already. Do
yes.
you, I would have to look that up, but when was On the Spice Market released? Do you remember? I can.
I think Helen said 2016 the last time.
Yeah, seriously.
So it's been 8 years we've been working together.
Yes, April 2016. Helen is absolutely right. Holy cow, that is a long time. Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we still sell this set because it's still popular. And I mean,
Yes.
you're
Yes.
still selling patterns for it. So
Yes. Yes. On the Spice Market, it's actually one of my best-selling patterns. And yeah, I see you have yours in the back of your room, and I have mine just here, right here. So
yeah, yeah. It,
it's
and,
twins. Yes.
yeah. And the importance for me of the Spice Market gradient set is that it really it was so popular and it became something that it's like people really like this. I know it's sort of, and it became the beginning of us doing so many gradient sets.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
didn't know that. Yes, because you already had some gradient sets back then, but very few, very few.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But the popularity of it and we did 2 or 3 other sets at the same time,
Mhm.
German Waterways and
Grand Bazaar.
Grand Bazaar,
Grand
which
Bazaar,
was
yes.
which was a dark continuation of the whole spice
Yes, the
process.
topic, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yes,
So it was, it was important in helping me really move into developing colors that work well in these sets. So
yes.
for that, I thank you.
Well, you definitely have a talent. I just said that before we admitted everyone to the room. You definitely have a strong talent for putting together beautiful color combinations.
Thank you.
And before we let everyone in, we were just talking about how the slowly drifting, the shawl that I'm just wearing now, and you can see that it also features a beautiful gradient set. So starting from like a skin tone, apricot, a pink, and then some bluish shades, and then all the way back. And yes, so this is a 6. It has 6 contrasting colors, and then 2 background colors, like the first one here, this very bright or light skin tone, and then a dark gray stripes. And so the way this one came together was as maybe some of you remember also the Beachy Keen shawl pattern that we did a while ago, which is this one. Also using a gradient kit, obviously. And I love working with this specific set of colors. So also that one spoke very strongly to me. And then when the shawl was published and when it was out, Helen, your colleague, Babs,
Yes.
she reached out to me and asked me if she could send me another gradient kit just as a thank you. So no strings attached, no need to design anything with it, just enjoy. And yeah, I was very happy about that. And then I think I chose this gradient set. So this one is not a specific one you made for Slowly Drifting, but you already had this color combination before,
Right.
but without the main colors, right?
Right. We added the main colors. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. And so I picked this one, and oh, right. And I still had this color at home because you had sent that to me many years ago. Now I remember. And then when the yarn arrived here, I love the colorway so much, and I wanted to design something right away. And that's how Slowly Drifting came to be. And so just a quick
It's so beautiful. And I love the bottom part where it goes back. One color goes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Return.
Me too. And this is a mosaic stitch pattern. And the great thing about mosaic knitting is that it looks way more complicated than it actually is. So oftentimes people are overwhelmed by the look of a mosaic pattern because, oh my God, this looks so complicated. Well, actually, if you know how to knit a stitch and how to slip a stitch, then this is basically all you need to do. Also, you're only ever working with one color at a time. So no need to strand the second color along at the back of your work. No, you just let it be, and you take one color and you knit and slip, and on the way back the same thing, and then you switch colorways, and then so on and so on from there. So this is really surprisingly easy technique, mosaic knitting.
Yes.
Right.
So before I start really selling yarn, tell me, what's the weather like over there?
We are just entering spring. So actually today, what is the name of these birds that in wintertime they travel southwards and in summertime they come back? So what is the
Migrating.
The migrating birds. Yeah. And here where we live, it seems that this is just the way they take, because twice a year, just over our house, literally like over our neighborhood, and it is some sort of geese, and it's thousands, it's 10,000s really, and they are loud. You're sitting in the living room, and all of a sudden you hear this quack, 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 and then you know, the geese are coming or going. And today I saw the first ones, so maybe just 50 birds or so, but it's like this they are scouting. I think they are scouting the way for the others, so I expect that week or two they will be migrating back. And I love this when the birds are coming or going. I don't know, it is very special, and I don't think a lot of people have that, because we're so lucky that their highway seems to be over our house. So this is a clear sign that spring is coming. Yeah. Is that the same for you now in your area?
We actually have, there's a stream near us that's called Goose Stream, and the local city park is the home of, I don't know, thousands of geese. And of course, everybody gets upset because, and I had a dog that I couldn't walk there because she liked stuff. But it's just they are part of who, our nature. So but yeah, I like hearing the birds go.
Yeah.
I'm always excited when my pair of pileated woodpeckers come back, and
Your pair of what? I didn't get that.
they're pileated woodpeckers.
That is a sort of bird, a kind of bird. Or
Yes.
yes,
It's a woodpecker, and it's called pileated, and they're
I see.
big. They have
Yeah.
big head,
Yeah.
and they make a really wonderful sound, and they swoop, anyway, they're just fun. So
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And it's the cycle of nature. Like every year, this is happening. And actually, my kids today, when they saw or heard and then saw the geese flying over the house, they said, "Oh my God, I'm so looking forward to spring this year." Although I think this winter has not been very hard on us. So last winter was worse, and I had the feeling like, oh my God, we are not coming out of this darkness and the cold and everything. So this winter, it felt like a breeze. It was very easy and very short, and I don't know.
right, it wasn't bad for us here either.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Although we had a lot of snow. We had like 30 or 40 centimeters of snow, which is usually we don't have any snow at all, or maybe just for a day and then just 1 centimeter. And then the kids make the tiniest snowman and then it's gone again. But
Right.
this year was extreme in terms of snow. So
Right.
yeah.
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 So what inspires your designing? What are some people are obviously very architectural or very, but what do you bring to your designing?
I think it all starts with the yarn, actually. And that is also the reason why I don't like to submit to magazines that strongly, because they always ask an idea first, and then they will assign a yarn to you. And for me, and for my way of thinking, this is very difficult because that way I have to design something without knowing for what yarn it is supposed to, or it's supposed to be knit in. And that is, to me, very difficult. I think that every yarn has its own characteristics, and I want to make them shine. So I want to write a pattern that best showcases the advantages of this yarn, or what makes this yarn so brilliant. And yes, so I would say that designing for me starts with the yarn. And perfect example with the slowly drifting kit that Helen had sent to me. So I had it here and it spoke to me, and that's how it all started. And we have such a wide variety of yarns nowadays available to us. I remember, or I don't remember, but I know the stories from my ma, who was also a knitter. Whenever she wanted to knit something, she walked to the department store, and there was a tiny yarn shelf, and that was her
Choice.
And that was not a lot, really. And so nowadays we are very spoiled with having access to all these wonderful yarns and fibers and colors and everything. Yes, and I like to have the yarn here at home, and then maybe I would just put it on the shelf and not do anything with it right away because, I don't know, maybe I'm busy or I don't have an idea or whatsoever. But then by having it there in my sight, and maybe as a daily reminder, you start thinking about it, and maybe unconscious. So maybe it's at the back of your mind, and then eventually an idea will arise from that. So that is my very favorite way of starting a pattern. Yes. How do you start that, Babs, with creating colorways or color combinations? What is your approach?
one of the most frustrating things is when people say, I need it to be like this. And it's like, okay, so there's a lot of pressure with
Mm,
that. And it's like, uh, my favorite way to develop color and colorways is to go for a drive
mhm,
or to exactly wander. Do, look at the colors that are outside, wander through magazines for looking at colors. And I have the ability to remember colors in my, you know, sort of specifically how green they are in the blue, how, I was one of those kids that loved the blue, green crayon or the, that's,
You were very specific
very,
about.
yes. And
Yeah.
and so and then it's often in the shower or when,
Oh, seriously.
yes, in the shower or when I'm waking up in the morning,
Mhm.
when I really haven't grabbed hold of anything yet mentally, that I will get, colors will come to me. And often I've had formulas come as well. Okay, so I need to add this, and this to this. And
Oh, wow.
it
Yes.
it's pretty amazing that it
Yeah.
happens in that way. But
It's not only that a certain colorway or color combination comes to your mind, but also at the same time, the very exact way of how to create that colorway.
right, exactly.
Wow.
Because if I don't have dye that will create the color, then
Mm,
I won't be able to get it. And also one of the other things that you have to take into account is that the yarn is ecru. It is not white. So in order to get a certain kind of feel, you,
mhm.
you got to think about that. And so it's more complicated than, but it's also, lots of years of mixing dye that allows me to come up with these formulas and know that the color is possible.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So it is both. It is creative, but also technical,
Yes,
right? Yes.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But it is, and what I think is interesting is that it really is about letting, for both you and me, it's about letting the brain just sort of la 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 la, do some la la la. And
Yes. Yeah, it is like sometimes you need the la la, sometimes you need the pressure of an approaching deadline. So, and then sometimes it is in the middle of that.
right,
It's, yes, right. But so you just mentioned that sometimes you need to drive your car or to take a walk and to see things. And I think that is important. For being creative, we need some sort of input. So that could be visual or so can be from nature, architecture, arts, or whatever. I think it is hard to think or to make up something in your mind without having any sort of input. So in
right.
that sense, we need to like take some things in and then create something new from it. That is a very healthy approach, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
so you have been busy, I think.
Yeah, right. So I have a couple of shawls here with me, some made in Miss Babs yarn and some not, but we already talked about
Right,
substituting yarns, which is something that I love. So I like when, for example, on Ravelry in the project list, I like to see a variety of yarns and fibers and colors used. And although I just mentioned that I designed to make a certain pattern shine and to, well, to showcase its beauty, of course, that does not mean that the pattern does not work in other yarns,
right,
especially when, for example, I work together with many like dyers or yarn companies from the States. And then ordering yarn from them for my customers here in Germany is pretty expensive because, well, the shipping and then the custom adds their part. So that can really be a very expensive experience.
Yes.
So I encourage people also to use yarn that they have at hand, that they have available locally. Yes, and I think that also adds to the variety and to the richness. And yes, so I have a couple of patterns here, and maybe I can say some things about it's only shawls, and then you could suggest a Miss Babs substitute for
Okay.
that.
And
If-
Helen is right here with me. For those of you who don't know Helen, Helen is our office manager and knitter extraordinaire. And she knows almost, I think she knows the names of colors better than I do. So
Your
she's,
right hand is she?
yes.
All right. So I would like to start with a shawl that is not yet been published, but that will be published in 11 days. So this is also for you a sneak peek to what's coming next. And it's again an asymmetrical triangular shawl. So that is the same construction as in Beachy King, for example. If you've enjoyed that construction, then you will enjoy the construction here in Blinding Lights. That is the name of the shawl. It's one of my favorite songs, Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. Not sure if you know that song or not. It's such a, I want to dance when I hear it. I can't sit still. And yes, so music is a huge source of inspiration also for joy. And yes. So anyway, this shawl, Blinding Lights, is as I said, an asymmetrical triangle. And again, it uses a fun stitch pattern, one again that is made more or less by slipping stitches. And here they are also twisted. So it's like tiny cables. So sometimes pointing to the left, all the stitches in a row, and then later pointing to the right, and then taking turns. And then it's just a play on colors, really. It starts with a beige and yellow, and then the dark tone is introduced very gently, and then there is a section of the dark, and then later a pink is coming into play, and that's it. And so the reason why I like the asymmetrical triangles so much is because it is so easy to style them. And I like to wear my shawls wrapped around the neck, and they drape beautiful, very naturally. So it's very easy to put them on and to look good in them.
Love that.
Yes. And one more thing about this shawl. So we have three colors, like we have the gold, the black, and the pink as contrasting colors, and then the beige as a main color. And the beige is double-stranded with a silk mohair. The others are not. So the others are a alpaca merino mix. And then this beige,
Right.
you see that it has this halo. It doesn't really
Right.
show here on the camera, but it has this slight halo. And that is for the mohair that is stranded along.
So is that a gradient set or is that full-size skeins?
Now that is full-size skeins, actually.
Right. So
but
three,
you could, because you have three colors like transitioning, you can of course use a gradient set, but I
right.
think each color uses more than just the 25
Right.
gram or so
Right.
that are
Right.
in the classical gradient set.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going to have to think about that one, but so it's three full-size skeins and then the mohair,
Yeah, but it is 350 gram skeins
right?
for the well, for the contrasting colors, let's call it like that. And then I think 3 skeins in the beige, stranded along with a silk mohair.
Okay.
And funnily enough, it So when they sent me the yarn, so it is yarn from Pasquali, a German company right next door, which I am very good friends with them, and we work together a lot. And when they sent me the yarn, and that was fascinating in terms of colorway, they sent me that beige here, that beige tone, and then a silk mohair in a very pale pink. And I was like, oh my God, that will not look good when I strand it along. But no, it did. So it was really a surprise. And if you look very closely, it does not really show here.
No, it doesn't, but
It,
I know that mohair looks so
Mhm.
different once
Yes,
it's knit with. So it's always sort of important to do some gauge, do some swatching, because
yes,
you might really be amazed at what you get.
absolutely. And I had the impression that it's like it takes up the color of the underlying yarn, and it's like it adapts to that, and it will change the color of the underlying yarn, but only slightly.
But the core, which is the silk,
Mhm.
is part of what has a different color than the mohair that's sticking up. So
Yeah.
the silk is the core holding the mohair in place.
Yes.
And so it has a different, and so it's that difference in color that is also really amazing.
Mhm.
Impacts how the appearance is.
Yeah.
So
And that's, do you have a silk mohair?
yes,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
moon glow is what it's called. So
I didn't know
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
But you don't currently offer this together with gradient kits, or?
We
We've had one pattern that paired Moonglow with the gradient set.
I
And we're always happy to play with it again if you want to have a look. I think
Oh,
something too young to play
tempting.
with.
Very
Um,
tempting.
but at the moment, we don't have any sets that have them together.
Yes.
right.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. For me, the stranding along of mohair was really a game changer. And I didn't do that like many years ago. It was like, I don't know why. That I could strand a mohair along. But then ever since I did that first, I want to use it with every single pattern because I think it's an improvement. Um, I realized that some people don't like the feel of the mohair. Like it might be scratchy for them, or they even might be allergic. There are alternatives nowadays. So I have seen some alpaca yarns actually that behave very similar to mohair. So
Right.
for those of you who don't like to strand along a mohair, of course you can also just leave it out and just go with the main yarn. But yeah, if you have wondered about a substitute for silk stranding along a silk mohair, then an silk alpaca or so is available today. So that is a new option nowadays.
And
Yes.
and the thing about the mohair today is that they figured out that it really does need to be kid mohair, not adult
Mhm.
mohair. And
Yes.
when I was a
Mhm.
kid, they did adult mohair and it really was itchy. And
It is itchy, definitely. Yeah, there is a big difference between the grown-up mohair and the kid mohair. Absolutely. Yes. Right. Another pattern that I have worked wonderful in in the Yummy Two Ply, for example, is True Colors. It is
yes.
also a triangular shawl. And it uses one main color here, this medium or bright gray. And then it uses a gradient set of, I think, 10 different colors here. A very autumnal style here, going from the dark green over medium green into like an ochre brownish section, and then like here, like starting with the green and then the brown section, and then transitioning back into the green again. It is also, of course, an option to do this in less colorways than 10. So there are, like, you
What
can use
we've
5
done
or
with
4 or
what we've done with a number of people is they'll pick a gradient set. And then we'll add colors either in the middle or at the ends of either, and, you know, go with to get the 10 colors.
Yeah.
And we're happy,
Yes.
always happy to work with people to do that and pick colors. Yeah.
So this is like a big order for them, or how do you handle that? Like people can reach out to you and
Yeah. On the phone or by email. Absolutely.
oh, yeah, I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah.
Great.
We do a lot of,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. So that would be an option, but also, as I said, you can just reduce the number of colors in this
Right.
shawl, and then just to make up for that, do more repeats so
Right.
that you still get a reasonable size.
Yeah.
Right. So this is true colors. And then one last, is it? Yes, I think this is the last shawl that I chose for today. A bit more like fresh colors, I would say. This is the Joe Thief. It is originally made in yarn by Sunshine Fibers.
Right.
Sunshine Yarns. But the absolute dream candidate for the Yummy 2-ply as well.
Right.
So this, again, it's using one background color, this dark, well, anthracite gray, and then a set of like pink and yellow and orange to red shades.
Yeah.
And then there's lots of stripes and a fun little stitch pattern to make it more interesting, the knitting, and also the, well, like eye-catching when you wear the shawl.
Absolutely.
Right. So this is also really a nice candidate for a gradient set.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. So I've loved with the slowly drifting and the beachy keen that you use two different background colors. I think that's nice because it adds dimension that the shawl wouldn't have otherwise. And
yes, I agree. I think that really adds to it. And I was surprised in Beachy Keen here. I was surprised how well it worked with these different with these two different background colors, because this gray here, it's a very cold, a very like a clinical gray, you could say. It does not have a lot of warmth. And then this other one, it is a very warm brownish tone. And I would not, so these would probably not be my first candidates to combine them in a pattern. But by the gradient set, which spreads out, it's like the gradient colors connect these two main colors so that they can indeed work well together. Yeah, sometimes fascinating effects take place, something that we didn't expect up front. And I don't know if we talked about swatching the last time, Babs. Do you remember? Did we talk a lot about swatching, making swatches?
A little bit, but we talked about how you woven ends, which I have been doing ever since that way. I love it.
Really? You tried that method out?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a time saver, no?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Yes. That makes me so happy. So for those of you who were not there last time, I don't have anything now lying here next to me which has an end to weave in, but we could just quickly repeat how it works. So let's just imagine there would be an end here to weave in. And a lot of people are afraid when they weave in that these ends might come loose one day, and then that the whole shawl unravels or the whole sweater unravels, which would be a complete nightmare. I agree. But usually that will never happen, even if so. And to make up for or to make sure that this end will never come off, knitters weave in and they continue and they weave and they weave and they weave. And oh my God, it is such a long end that they weave in. And the result is that that is very visible on the fabric, because it's quite logic. The more end, the more yarn you weave in, the more visible that will be, right? So it would be better to just weave in a tiny short piece of yarn so that it's not so obvious. And the way I do it is I take my fabric here, and let's say there would a blue end would come out here, and then I would just pinch it like here between my fingers. And then that is that is important. You have to use a very pointy darning needle, so one that has really a very, very pointy tip. And then I squeeze the fabric, and with that pointy needle, I insert it right into the fabric. So I don't I'm not tracing away back or so. No, I just go right inside the fabric for maybe 1 centimeter, and I pull the yarn through, and then I do one little back stitch. Babs, do you have that? You did that on your BT Keen shawl?
Yeah. And it's not really visible. But you go one way and then you go the neck back the way and then back again. And then
that's it. And then before cutting, I will tuck the fabric a little bit so that the tension of the thread or of the end adjusts to the tension of the fabric, and then I would just cut it, and that's it. And I think each end takes me maybe 40 seconds by like threading it into the needle and then pinching the fabric, and then so it's like 40 seconds all in all, and that is not too painful. So that is
right.
Yes. And also with a pattern like this is one downside of gradient sets. We have a lot of ends to weave in, so maybe that is the only downtime. But
Right.
yes, to make it a little less painful, what I do is I weave in ends as I go. Babs, do you do the same thing, or are
Yes,
you
I
left with? Yeah.
I may go 3 or 4 and then I'll stop and do 3 or 4. And
Yeah,
then
same for me.
right.
Same for me. Yeah, yeah. And that way, when you cast off, there are maybe just very few ones left.
Right.
And
Exactly.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't like to have a bunch of ends hanging around when I get done. That's daunting, as no
It
matter.
is.
Yeah.
It is. We have a question in the chat. Marie is asking, could you recommend a good brand of sharp needle? Well, the ones available in Germany are by Prim. I have no idea whether they are available in the States, but I think pointy needles are not something exclusive to Europe.
Right.
I'm very sure they are available. Maybe even Knit Picks or so, like the big brands have them available.
I tend to use DMC chenille needles. They are quite pointy and work really well for me. So I will put a link in the chat.
Yeah, perfect. Yes, just going through messages in the chat to see if we missed something.
So you're
Mhm.
also have been working on a book.
Right. Yes. And actually, so I already have 2 books published, and books on shawls. So I have them here. So this one is the first, Shawls. It came out in 2018, and this one in 2019. So just before the pandemic. Wow, that feels like a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
So they are still available. So this one is called Shawls. This one is called Colorwork Shawls. And yes, then the break from books. It's really, books are time consuming writing them. It's like, let's say there are 15 patterns in the book. 50 single patterns and publishing them is way less work than putting them all together in the book.
Right.
Yes, I still love the experience, and also my publisher is yeah, I'm super happy with them. So they are wonderful people and we have a great collaboration, but oh my God, I needed a break from books. And then so the pandemic came and like everything stood still. Like, I mean, I'm sure you guys know, 2 years more or less, nothing was going on. And we have a big fair here in Cologne. So I'm living in Bonn, which is a little city, neighbor city of Cologne. Bonn is one of the 4 cities in Germany. And this fair, it's called H&H, Handarbeit und Hobby. That is, and it is one of the biggest trade shows for yarn in the world. And it is happening in my neighbor city, like it's a 20-minute drive from where I live. So I'm extremely lucky in that relation. And so I'm always there. And my publisher also. So last year, so that was, it's always in March. So exactly 1 year ago, I met after the pandemic for the first time with my publisher again. And then there is a lovely woman working there, and she walked up to me and she said, "Oh, Melanie, so wonderful to see you. And hey, we've seen that you have made a lot of sweater patterns lately. And don't you feel like doing a book on sweaters?" And I was, yes, and I very spontaneously, because I was so happy that I could go to the trade show after the pandemic and all, and I had such a good like mood, and I was like, yes, sure, let's do it without thinking, right? I have not regretted it. So we knew that we would want to publish the book 1.5 years later. So that was a very relaxing lead time. But now actually this March is my deadline to hand the manuscript into them. So all these last weeks I have, I've been working a lot on the book. And oh, I can show you one. So same with the other books, we have a mix of brand new patterns, but also some existing ones. And I can show you one of the brand new patterns. Hang on a second. I have a... Sometimes I'm so slow with my smartphone. I wonder how the kids do it. They are so very super fast, and not me. But wait, there it is. So it's a book on sweaters, and this one is a cute little summer tee that will be
Nice.
included in the book. So this is also using a silk mohair to strand along with a paper yarn, actually. So very fun combination, but can absolutely be made in a lace, any kind of lace yarn, double stranded, as I suggest, with a mohair yarn. Now here's another picture. It has a very nice drape, and these 2 stripes that you can see. This is actually surface crochet, which is done afterwards. Oh. So the whole tee is knit in stockinette stitch, and then after binding off with a crochet hook, you can just very quickly add these 2 lines, because vertical stripes in knitting are always a pain. Like, it's complicated.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. Right. So this book will come out in September. So keep your eye out for that. I will be super excited once the day has come. Yes.
Sure. Yes.
Yes.
I can remember as a child always like, oh, I would love to write a book. And it's, it would be an amazing thing to do. I don't think at this point this is going to happen for me, but it's just, I admire that you're able to have 3 books out.
Yes, it feels quite surreal to me sometimes thinking about it, because also for me it has been a childhood dream to publish a book, but I do think publishing knitting books is easier than writing a novel. I do think this is I don't know. It does not compare. It is something very different. And my childhood dream was more like, oh, I want to be like Stephen King. So I don't feel like I play in the very same league just by publishing knitting books, but still, I'm very excited for the publication of the next book. Yes. There was something else that I wanted to
Right.
share with
Okay.
you. Once a year, I'm running a BOGO sale. So that is a buy one, get one sale. And I always do it around this time of the year. And I'm planning to do it on next Thursday. So that is the 14th of March. But I have already set up everything to work from now on. So this is just something I share secretly with those who are listening here. So I will just announce that in 4 days. But now this coupon code that I just put in the chat is working already. So if you entered that code on Ravelry, you can put a lot of patterns into your cart. And when you check out, you will only be charged for half of them. So that is, if you like to stock up on mail-in knitting patterns, this is the time of the year.
So you're not a nerd with it being Pi Day.
Pi Day, you say? Oh,
3/14 is Pi Day.
I didn't realize that. Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I am a nerd. But you know that I studied computer science, information technology before being a knitwear designer. But no, so I didn't realize that, because also the way we pronounce or the way we say a date
Right.
in Germany, we have the numbers the other way around.
Of course, yes,
and
exactly.
So I never realized that this
Right.
is Pi, but yeah, you're right.
Very
So Helen says it's a very US thing. So
well, I know that it's the Star Trek Day is May the 4th. No, because they say May the 4th be with you, and
right.
it is May the 4th. So
Right. Yeah.
Yes, that's also pretty nerdy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
So somebody had a question about.
Yep, the foreground and background color for section 2. Is muslin the foreground and pewter the background, or vice versa?
Yes, Judith, you're exactly right. Muslin is the first background color, and how do you say that? Peter or
Pewter.
Pewter is the second. Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
And so as you can see, the shawl starts here with a cast on in the center of the upper edge. So all of this is first done in the first main color, and then these stripes are done in pewter, but you can also do them, so these first 3 stripes here, in the very dark blue, instead of using the second main color for that, just to make sure that you don't run out of that main color, because the blue is just worked so you have a lot of that left, like several gram, but with the second main color, it can be a close cut. So for me, it worked in my version of the shawl. But every knitter knits with a different tangent. So even if you have the exact same gauge that I do in my shawl, then it still might happen that you need a bit more yarn. And then in order to prevent you from running out of that main color, it's an option that you work these 3 stripes in the dark blue from like in this colorway here to make sure that doesn't happen. And Babs, this happened, you did that in your version of Slowly Drifting, which is now not with you. You told me it's traveling.
It's not with me because we it is on its way back from a show and that we went to in Raleigh this weekend. So we'll have it the next time people see us.
And there was another question about the row maps. Do you check off each row as you knit it, or how does it work?
Right. So row maps are something new. the Beachy Keen and also the Slowly Drifting shawl have a row map, a complimentary row map included. So if you purchase the pattern, you get the row map for free. It comes at no extra cost. And you can download it from Ravelry, just as you are downloading the pattern. And so Chad is a good friend of me from Canada. He and I came up with the row map idea because, well, he is working as a knitting teacher for chemo patients, and I was a chemo patient. So we both are very aware of the fact that although knitting is a great and wonderful thing, you need at least a bit of concentration for it. And when you're undergoing chemo or any hard time in your life, it might happen that you don't have that amount of concentration. So we still wanted knitters to be able to knit during hard times or for example, one woman reached out to me and said, "Oh my God, thank you for the row map. I have a toddler and she takes up all my concentration. So the row map enables me to still knit although I have a toddler." So I found that very charming and funny. That was not what we had in mind when we designed the row map, but still. So a row map is basically a tick-off list. And it helps you to navigate your knitting pattern. And you can put so you tick off each row as you go. And then say something happens, life happens, and you have to put the project aside, and then you come back to it after several months, and then still the row map tells you exactly where you have left your project. And also, well, what comes next? And it's like it's taking you by the hand. And yeah, I'm very proud and very happy that we have these row maps now included. And I try to include one for all of my shawl patterns. They might probably be handy for sweaters as well, but it is way more difficult to create a row map for a sweater because, well, all the different sizes. And then, yeah, so for now, we just have them with the shawl patterns. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. March is adding that stitch counts with the row maps make it even easier. That is right. I do have stitch counts in my knitting patterns. So without the row map, you still got the stitch counts in the knitting pattern. But on the row map, you have it all at one glance. So it provides a wonderful overview. Right.
Are there other questions people have? This is an ideal time to either write or unmute or ask a question. I haven't shown any yarn.
Hi.
So go ahead.
I wrote something in there. I said, instead of using the dark blue for all 3 stripes, can you use it just for, say, first and third and the pewter for the second?
Absolutely.
Because
Why
I don't
not?
know how much yarn of the pewter you don't think will be, may not have enough. What do you recommend on that?
Well, I think doing 2 stripes in the blue and then 1 stripe in pewter sounds like an excellent idea, because that way you also introduce the darker colors.
Yes.
So I think that sounds fabulous.
1 and 3 in blue and 2 in pewter.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome, Judith.
I haven't sold any yarn yet, so I'm going to do that.
I just bought from you.
Well, you know what I mean. I haven't shown any yarn. So here is the original set, which is Fun in the Sun with muslin and pewter. And
Beautiful.
it's a set I really love. Another one that I've been debating, okay, which one am I going to do? So there's Sunshiny Day, which is a really happy set and uses the gradient set and dappled and lead as the background colors. This is another one that I've been really attracted to, and it's Pfeiffer Beach and uses lurch and white peppercorn. I just, every one of these has a different feel, a different seasonality, a different there's a serious, and then there's the funny and the happy, and this is honestly this is the second most popular set that we did. This is Cascara and Starling with Sugar. And I think is going to will be a lovely combination. This is the last one that I have that is, and of course, all of the Beachy Keen sets will work.
Not quite. We put some on the page that we think will work, and then there are some where the contrast colors are not contrasty enough.
Right.
So like shaved ice, we didn't think the contrast colors are contrasty enough to work well for slowly drifting necessarily.
Yeah, so it's on the ones that we thought worked are there. This is Scenic Overlook, and we Scenic Overlook, and we included Puff of Smoke, which is a really soft gray blue, and Dark Perseus. And so that's the last of those.
The ephemeral.
Oh, one more. Ephemeral, which is a set out of, actually it was a
recombination new set.
Yeah, it was a recombination of a different set and uses Snowdrift and Half Past Midnight as your background colors, main colors.
I would love to see a slowly drifting shawl knit up in each of these yarn kits. So I hope that that the knitters watching us today, that they will make their choices, and then if you knit the shawl up, please put it up on Ravelry, add it to the project
Absolutely.
list, tag me and Babs on Instagram so that we get a chance to see and like your photo, your project. That would be wonderful. Yeah.
Absolutely. Are there other questions?
I actually have a question to Marge McFarlane. Is that a slowly drifting shawl that you have there in the background?
Yeah. I test knit for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that is amazing. Show
Let's
us the
see it.
shawl. Let's see what colors you.
Mine was a mix from a bunch of different ones.
That's fine.
Beautiful.
Oh,
But
Yes.
and it's one of those ones, you're right, when you look at it, you think, oh my goodness, that looks complex. It is not. It's not even a hard one. It's just, it moves along really well. And it's so much fun to watch the next color pop up.
Yes, it keeps
Yeah.
you going, right?
It's one of my favorites, yeah.
I just want to add like one more color and then I will go to bed.
Yes,
But
yes,
this-
it's dangerous is what it is.
Right. So much. Thank you so much for being a test knitter.
Oh, you're
And
welcome. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
that's great to hear. And I'm so happy to hear that you found it easy to make the slowly drifting
Yes.
shawl. You shared
And
this experience with the
especially
mosaic
with the
kit.
row map beside it. I mean, I used to make my own. So it's beautiful to have that handy and just ticking things off one at a time.
Thank you for saying that much. I will pass that on
You're
to
welcome.
Chad.
Okay.
He's my partner in crime with the
Yeah.
row maps, and he loves receiving that sort of feedback also. So thank you.
You're welcome.
okay.
Nina asked.
Can I show you what I'm making? I'm making a
Sure.
Zimstern, I think you pronounce it. Let's see if I can hold it up. Can you see it?
Ah, is that the
It's the
Zimstern? That is Zim. Oh yeah, so it is. You almost pronounced it correctly. It is Zimtstern, Zimtstern, and
yeah.
Zimtstern, and oh
And
my God,
I am using the yarn you recommended, just different colors.
that is rosy green yarn.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
rosy green.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's the same. It's just different
Oh,
colors if you
Nice.
that is a
correctly.
striking color combination. I love
Ooh.
that pop, like this
Yeah.
bright pop in the in between the two sections. That's
So I'm
beautiful.
finding that most of these shawls, and Babs, maybe you'll agree, I mean, I have to use the 40-inch knitting needles and sometimes even 60 to really spread it out. Do you find that?
Well,
People
stitch-
find that?
Well,
So slowly drifting and Zimtstern, they have the same construction. So this top-down triangle, and you add 6 stitches every, well, right side and wrong
Yes.
side row. So the stitch count grows quite strongly. And also, like on the asymmetrical triangle, like Beachy Keen, for example, you have the cast on here
Mhm.
in this corner, and
Yes.
this edge and this edge here, they are created as you go. And that means you only have to bind off stitches here. You only have to bind off this one
Right.
edge, right?
Mhm.
But with slowly drifting, it's constructed in a different way. So you
Right.
start here, and the upper edge is made as you go,
Correct.
and you have to bind off both of these lower edges, and that means the stitch count will be quite big in the end, and of course
Right.
then you need a longer needle,
Over
right?
600 stitches.
Yes, can happen. Right, so if you find that if you don't enjoy having such a high stitch count towards the end of the project, then I would recommend you try out these asymmetrical triangular shawls, because stitch counts in these construction, they hardly go over 300 stitches.
Mm.
It's usually 240 to 80, I would say.
I don't mind. I'm used to it. I
Oh,
don't care.
all right then.
yeah, there was one shawl that I made, different designer long ago, that required 2 60-inch needles in order for me to get the entire
Wow.
side.
That was a circle, like a circle shape shawl?
Basically, it was an oval, yeah. It
Yes.
was just,
Yeah.
but I love it. I still wear it. It's a wonderful, you do what you got to do.
Right. Absolutely. Yes. So does anyone have a question left to me or to Babs?
Nina said, thank you for the wonderful Sunday. Is there any chance we would offer a yarn set for one of these shawls in a DK weight?
I don't know. It's adding, creating, changing the yarn weight and then calculating the amount of yarn is often pretty difficult. And
we do have sets of 6 colors in Yowza Minis, which are 200 yards of DK weight. So if you wanted to do a little bit of fudging and figuring out the math yourself,
right,
you could email us and ask for the color you're interested in, and we could dye that in the DK. for
right.
you.
And we have done the Fun in the Sun in a DK weight in the in the Yowza mini sets. And so the next time we dye Fun in the Sun, we could dye Yowza minis in it. So anybody else?
So Deborah knows how to speak German. Looks like. Yeah, and she says she's looking forward to making this shawl. So I assume she's talking about slowly drifting. And yeah, as I said, once you finish, then make sure to share your shawl on either on Ravelry or on your social media, so that we get a chance to see it and to fave it.
Okay, well, I want to thank everyone for joining us. And it was a pleasure talking with you again, Melanie. And
Likewise, Babs. Thank you for taking the time. It is a great pleasure to have this ongoing collaboration. And yes, thank you for.
Thank you.
Take
for
care,
doing that
everyone.
with me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a nice day,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.